Well, that could have gone better. Um, First of all, great television, but that's such a Trump thing to say. Honestly, this is a disaster for everybody involved, except actually, no, everybody involved. I actually think this is bad for everybody. Um, First off, the facts on the ground are that Russia is pretty much consolidated in Donbass and Crimea. Ukraine fought extraordinarily well with billions of dollars, with hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian wives, billions of dollars of funding, split about equally between the United States and Europe. Europe gave funding in the terms of loans, America in the terms of a gift of just funding. But either way, the money was given, and chances are the loans aren't going to be required to be paid back. Let's be honest with ourselves. So that is the facts on the ground. Trump came in and he's like, I want there to be peace in Ukraine and Russia because he, I don't know, I think he actually wants peace. He knows the American people want peace. He ran on it. It's a bit of a flex to end a war. And so he went about negotiating. They've been negotiating nonstop for about, I don't know, probably about 3 weeks, it seems like. So what Trump did is that he said, okay, let's talk to Putin. Let's talk, and then we'll talk to Zelensky. We'll talk to Europe. We'll talk to all the people one by one and figure out a deal. The deal is going to be America gets vested in Eastern Ukrainian rare earth mines. So America gets mines for rare earth, which also maybe not officially, but it gives America basically a vested interest in keeping Eastern Ukraine out of the hands of Russia. Because if Russia invades, then it disrupts our mining, and it gives us a reason to be effective as a country to defend it. And that is the red line in the sand that Biden didn't have for 3 years ago when this conflict began. So things were going along pretty well. Talking with Russia, and then they had this talking with some Europeans, including Starmer and Macron. Have to make some deals and such, and then this happened. Zelensky basically tried to grandstand and say, "We will defend Ukraine with your money," and basically, said a bunch of, I don't know, nationalistic. Hey, yeah, Ukraine, we kick butt. We've done so much against Putin. We hate Putin so much. And Trump is like, and Ukraine is like, oh, you need us to be defending America, and America needs us to be free. It's like, no. So Trump basically called him out on that and said, hey, we don't need you as a country. We don't. And you are screwed without us. You don't have good playing cards right now. You don't have the power right now. And is that fair? No. But you don't have it because Russia is 5 times your size. So Zelensky tried to grandstand. Trump shot him down. Yelling was done. Vance actually lost his cool for the first time I've ever seen Vance have any kind of like misstep. Because he's like, you didn't say thank you. It's like, hey, Vance, that was the wrong thing to say. And basically, a lot of fighting, and Trump was basically, and people are saying, oh, so what's my analysis of all this? People are calling Trump a Russian agent. He's not. That's a stupid argument. It always has been a stupid argument. It's just not true. And people are saying Trump is insane. Nothing he said was actually wrong. Ukraine doesn't hold any cards right now. It is kind of in a really, really bad place, and it does need American support a lot more than America needs Ukrainian support. We don't actually we're not neighbors with Ukraine. We're not part of Europe. Ukraine gets invaded by Russia entirely, what do we actually lose? Maybe wheat controls, maybe wheat prices, maybe that might be something because Ukraine has a lot of those. But Trump was actually completely right about what he actually said. He wasn't wrong. Ukraine is in a bad spot militarily and economically, and Ukraine can't depend 100% on Europe for its defense. There's not going to be enough money. So, where Trump screwed up, he got angry. That's basically the long and short of it. He lost his cool, and people are calling him a bully, which, you know what? He was kind of acting like a bully. That's fair. But so that's what Trump lost. Trump lost some political capital in the United States pursuing a goal that he ran on in his campaign directly. He ran on ending the Russia-Ukraine war. So he lost political capital trying to achieve a goal that he was given during his campaign. So yeah, it's actually a pretty big loss, and it's a big loss for conservatives worldwide. Okay. So what did Zelensky gain? Well, he's getting a lot of accolades from sophisticated intellectual types. Um, I don't think he gained anything from the entire exchange outside of accolades. And maybe a better chance that Europe backs him, maybe. But the things blocking Europe from backing Ukraine more strongly are not the will. He already has the European leadership rooting for him and doing everything they can. They don't have the ability, at least not quickly enough to ramp things up, or the financial wherewithal. What he lost? What did Zelensky lost? Well, at the very minimum, if this deal doesn't come back somehow, Zelensky loses at least tens of thousands of Ukrainian lives. He doesn't get the territory back that he wants back, and he probably loses more territory than the territory he's already lost. I have no idea without American military support how far that's going to go. It's likely that all of eastern Ukraine, the eastern side of Ukraine, east of the river, without American support, that's probably invadable, unless Trump decides to keep funding him anyway. So he basically still needs a Trump to support him. And what else you lose? Chance of peace, economic deal, reason for America to be involved in future conflicts in that region. Those mines, those rare earth mines. That was the security guarantor. It was saying, hey, America has resources here. If you attack Ukraine, you're de facto attacking America. America then has a stake at defending it. So Zelensky, Trump, you can say got lost his cool. That's a fair argument to make against him. Zelensky was a fucking idiot. Yeah, maybe Trump is a bit of a bully. You know what you do if you don't have any power and somebody else has all the power over you? Yeah, and there's somebody else beating the shit out of you in the battlefield. Yeah, you side with the bully who's trying to help you and trying to make peace and is actually like providing you military resources, and now he's actually helping you out. Yeah, is Trump a bit of a git in this exchange? Yes. You need to do if you're a good leader of a country that's being attacked by somebody else, you fucking deal with it. You don't like act like you're some hero. That's not smart. It's just a very dumb play. I don't know how he's that dumb. I really don't. Like, I thought Zelensky was smart. I honestly did. I thought I'm okay. He's trying to defend his country. He's leading Ukraine against the Russians. Okay. He's brave. He's still brave. But complete idiot at this point. It's like you fight to get a better deal and stop yourself being bowled over. That makes sense. You fight so that the other person takes you seriously enough not to just kill you. And then you make a deal. And then you say, okay, we are going to be expensive to invade. Stop it. And then you make a deal. And the deal might vary based on how well you do. If you can just win, you win. If it's a lose, Well, you make it expensive for them. If it's a drawn stalemate where you're steadily being pushed back, you make a deal and you surrender. And people are like, "Oh, that's so cowardly." It's like, yeah, well, it's called real politic. Shut up, honey. Um, but yeah, on a personal level, people in power do get angry, which is interesting. And how you get angry matters. I actually think people are saying, "Oh, Trump was like raving." No, he wasn't. He was exerting force. Now, what Trump should have done, and this is what he never does, he should have said, "Okay, calling the press conference. We'll meet back in a few hours." That's what he should have said. The ability to back down like that and call the end of a fight is not something Trump has ever been able to do. He never backs down from a fight ever, and it's part of why he's gotten to where he is the fact that he never backs down. But there's a weakness in that sometimes you're dealing with somebody who's just stupid and wants to fight for no goddamn reason whatsoever. And that's what he ran into with Zelensky. Um, this is going to hurt. Well, the thing that's funny is that for American politics, this doesn't affect Trump's presidency until a year and a half from now, where maybe it tangentially gets affected by Congress that could potentially impeach Trump. And then you have JD Vance as president, who nobody wants that. Actually, a lot of people. Shake that. Actually, a lot of people want that. A lot of people want exactly that to happen. Actually, I might vote Democrat if the chances for a JD Vance presidency. I mean, go ahead. But that's so a year and a half. That's how long goes that? That's like 2 years from now. Are Americans going to remember this as fiercely as they're fighting about it right now? No, the Trump supporters are still going to support him. The Trump opponents are still going to oppose him. But Democrats are doing such a bad job making themselves look viable as a party. I just don't see any negative actual consequences happening. The more long-term consequences are going to be something like an economic downturn or something like that, which is actually probably going to happen. Um, Americans have short memories. You got to remember that. So I think Ukraine is fucked at this point. Just totally and absolutely fucked. It's called biting the hand that feeds. It's not a good idea. America's been funding Ukraine a lot, and there are whispers about some of the Ukraine money not getting to Ukraine, being a kind of circle back. I don't know if those rumors are real, but I think Trump believes them. Russia. This whole exchange helps Russia more than anybody because now they have like, oh look, no peace, and we tried to be peaceful, but we're going to keep going, which is exactly what Putin's going to say. It's going to be like, well, I was open to peace, but Zelensky wasn't willing to deal. So yeah, that's basically the situation right now after that whole shouting match. Um, I really don't know what's going to happen next. Honestly, probably nothing. Honestly, we probably just keep the stalemate going because the funding to help Ukraine doesn't come from the president, it comes from Congress. And Congress isn't going to stop funding things because of this fight. If anything, Republican politicians that are concerned about the political blowback are more likely. So I guess Zelensky got what he wanted. So I guess he did get what he wanted. He wanted an extending stalemate that's going to go on for another 4 years and cost another 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers, another 100,000 Russian soldiers, and gain nothing. Maybe he loses a little territory, but he keeps the war going. If that was his aim, is to keep the war going and fuck over conservatives worldwide, he achieved his goal. Maybe that was his goal. Um, Or this entire thing could possibly be a fake out to basically make Russia happier about making a deal because it makes them look like they won. And maybe they don't actually gain that much, but if they feel like they won, maybe they're more likely to end it. Yeah, because Russia's not going to be humiliated. They're not going to be like, "Oh, those idiots, they got taken advantage of." No, they're Ukraine. If you look at the facts on the ground, who's more difficult to make a deal with? Ukraine, who'd be fun and give Starlink to. And well, Musk does, but let's be honest with ourselves. Musk and Trump are working together. Or Russia, who feels like they're winning the war. Russia's the harder one to make a deal with. So there's a possibility this is a play act, but it didn't look like play acting, so I don't want to go too far down that hole. Um. Anyway, it is interesting to know that people get upset, even if they're no matter what level they're at. I know I've gotten upset like that before, but when I get upset, it's a lot less control than Trump is upset. Like he didn't fall apart. This was an aggressive, this was an attacking aggression. This wasn't a self-destructive, falling apart aggression. Zelensky. That's the thing. People are like, "Oh, Zelensky's so brave." It's like, no, Zelensky lost a lot of this, unless his goal is instead of stalemate, which strains the right force of his country. Which, good job, Zelensky. You're an idiot. Fuck you, Zelensky. Fuck you, Putin as well. Trump, I actually think he just lost control. But also, yeah, no, fuck you, Trump as well. Fuck everybody involved in this whole mess. Anyway, cheers. Hopefully this gets better.